We'll start, sir. It's 11:45.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. A very good morning, everyone. On this special day, as we step into 2026 together, let us begin with a moment that brings us closer in unity and pride. I request all to please stand in honoring our journey as we play the Aparajitha anthem. Karthik, can you please pay?
So can you hear me, Priya?
Yes, we can, Karthik, we can.
எதையும் வெல்ல முடியுமெங்களால் அபராஜிதா எவர்க்கும் உதவும் இனிய பண்பினால் அபராஜிதா எதையும் வெல்ல முடியுமெங்களால் அபராஜிதா எவர்க்கும் உதவும் இனிய பண்பினால் அபராஜிதா வளர்ச்சியில் நல்ல துணையாய் வளம் கொடுத்திட மழையாய் வளர்ச்சியில் நல்ல துணையாய் வளம் கொடுத்திட மழையாய் என்று வளரும் உறவால் நாம் சேர்ந்து காணும் உயர்வால் எதையும் வெல்ல முடியும் எங்களால் அபராஜிதா அபராஜிதா அபராஜிதா.
Thank you, everyone. Request all to kindly take your seat, please. Once again, a very good morning all. To our chairman, the managing director, the leadership team, and every Aparajithan present, I extend my warmest welcome on this truly momentous New Year's Day. 25 years of Aparajitha stands as a living chronicle, and today we turn the page to begin a new chapter together as we step into this new year. With every chapter, our pace has only quickened, responsibilities deepened, and our impact that we create has widened. And what makes this journey remarkable is not the prominence of a few voices, but the shared conviction of many, each Aparajithan adding strength, perspective, and purpose. And what we build today is larger than this moment. It's part of a continuum, one that began before us and will continue long after us. And the choices we make now will quietly shape the legacy we leave behind. And that's what this New Year address has always been about. Not instructions, but perspective, not certainty, but clarity, a sense of direction we can believe in and walk towards with as the year unfolds. On that note, I request our Managing Director, Mr. Nagaraj, to share his perspective on the journey ahead, the goals we can aim for, the growth we can achieve, and the difference we can make together. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priya. Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to wish you all a fabulous, happy, wonderful, and blessed New Year 2026. Usually in my New Year address, I kind of touch upon the journey in 2025 and what is that we can aspire for in 2026. Whereas this time, I'm going to touch upon the journey for the past 25 years and what is that we can aspire in the next 5 years. Because this being 25th year of Aparajitha, being Silver Jubilee year of Aparajitha, it is good to kind of recollect what is that as Aparajithans we have done in the last 25 years. If I have to put it in a nutshell, what is that as Aparajithan we have done is, we have created an organized, corporatized, tech-enabled, regulatory compliance industry in the country. I'm not saying that before us there was no compliance industry or there was no compliance in the LEA space. Compliance always kind of were there. Even today we have, and it's going to be there. But the thing is, what is that we have done is, before us, it used to be very fragmented, very completely unorganized. A lot of individuals were doing in regional areas, like kind of a retired chartered accountant in Chennai and a retired labor authority in Bangalore. Like that, it used to be there. So what we have done in the last 25 years is kind of we have corporatized the space. We have created a compliance industry which is tech enabled and which is valued today, as Aparajitha is valued today 1,500 crores in terms of the money terms. So what we all have done is, other than creating a corporatized, organized compliance industry in the LEA space, we have also created an organization from zero in 2000 to valued at 1,500 crores in the last 25 years, which is a very, very fabulous journey. See, when I say this journey of 25 years, I would like to touch upon some of the defining moments. See, a lot of people who were from inception are part of these defining moments. For many of you, kind of it may be kind of information or to understand the experience the organization has undergone in the last 25 years. See, when initially the initial avatar of Aparajitha used to be the captive training center for Aparajitha, especially this division. We had multiple other verticals and other divisions were there, but specific to our division, we used to be the training division of TVS. In 2000, TVS said they are into recession and they are not going to spend money on training, and then our budget became zero. Okay, so when it became zero, we wanted to explore new avenues of growth for the organization. We tried everything else, and then this leadership team came up with the idea of getting into the regulatory compliances, and from there the journey started. So from zero, when TVS said zero budget, we converted that challenge into an opportunity and kind of commenced our journey in the regulatory compliance space. There are multiple defining moments. I would like to just run through some of the defining moments that define this Aparajitha today, which includes the zero budget from TVS, and then rolling out of vendor compliance factory business with the TVS group. So initially, when I presented the budget to chairman, I said this year we can do a 21 lakhs revenue. Okay. Then it underwent a rigorous process, because if you are coming up with a business model for one particular vertical, I spent nearly 3 months with the chairman getting his approval, because I was also learning. Okay, because that time, that Nagaraj was a personnel officer from TVS, very limited to that employment kind of orientation, not the entrepreneurship or business kind of orientation. So from that lot of things I was presenting, chairman will make 5 queries. I will come back, find answer to all those queries. So end of that 3 months, I understood, okay, one step we have to do, I have to undergo this amount of learning. Okay. So then we started with the vendor compliance factory vertical. Initially, we rolled that to the TVS and Sons, and then the TVS group gave us the opportunity. During that journey, Sundar Finance called us and said, I would like to give an opportunity to you to roll out ECS compliance across the country. So then we just started the journey with ECS journey with Sundar Finance, and then AMP Sanmar got acquired by Reliance. Then from Reliance, we got opportunity from ITC and then from NIT and Airtel. So in the year 3, year 4, we became a pan-India company. Okay, so that's again a very blessing for Aparajitha to become a pan-India company in the shortest time. And then when we were scaling up the flexi staffing business, because TVS said they need to have some flexi staffing requirement, then we started the flexi staffing requirement. When chairman and I were traveling, we were dealing with the Global Trust Bank at that particular point of time. So the Sundara Finance transactions, all those things comes through Sundara the money comes to Global Trust Bank. And then we came to know that GTB, the Global Trust Bank, got into a trouble. Okay, they went their business model became an issue, and that is one of the biggest challenge we handled. And then because that kind of exposure was very new to the organization, suddenly your banker going for a 6. That crisis we handled, and then kind of we learned the importance of mitigating your risk at all point of time. And then conversion of Model 1 and Model 2 to the new Model 3 business. When we were initially rolling it out, we didn't understand the impact of TDS on our business. So from there, kind of suddenly chairman called and said, Model 1, Model 2, we cannot operate this way. And he took us one session. Manikandan after the session felt very upset. He said, what is, sir, are we going to stop Model 1 and Model 2? Okay. It originated from that particular discussion. From there, we evolved Model 3. Okay. So otherwise, kind of, we would not have come up with this particular model. If we continued the same Model 1 and Model 2, it's a very different kind of challenge today, because it becomes a very cash flow intense game. A lot of your money gets locked with the government authorities, and it takes kind of 8 years, 9 years to get back. So from there, we evolved to the Model 3, and then kind of today we have multiple clients in the Model 3. And then kind of in 2007, the entire country went into recession. Okay. So again, that particular point of time, many of our clients here. So one side growth was a challenge, some of the clients getting disappeared and your money getting locked. Then the organization learned what is recession and how to handle recession. So that is one of the kind of learning moments for the organization. And then centralizing our back office operations. So when Manikandan was traveling again, kind of suddenly he called me from Delhi, saying that kind of, say, records are there, only 20% of the records are updated. We cannot scale up by this particular model. So he suggested the model to centralize the operations. Then we centralized the entire operations. That gave us the opportunity to think intensively of technology. So parallelly, we started building various technology into the system. That journey started. And at the same time, we decided to not to scale up FSS business and payroll business. Okay. So we were deliberating, kind of, we had a session with chairman and we were deliberating, and kind of we decided to focus on regulatory compliance space and not to scale up flexi staffing and payroll as a business. Today, in retrospective, okay, that is one of the best decisions taken by the organization and appreciated by the industry. Today, if you take companies like Teamlease and Quest Corp, the temp staffing thing is not scalable. It is not that kind of profitable in that sense. Whereas Aparajitha created that, we decided to focus on regulatory compliance, and we continue to be that particular market leader in this particular space with a very good profitability and growth in this particular in the regulatory compliance space. That again, we deliberated a lot of we discussed about recruitment as a business model at that particular point of time. Then finally decided regulatory compliance. Today, Aparajitha has become the synonym for compliance. Okay. During these discussions, when people, when Bharath and Ramachandran and the entire leadership team kind of go and do the presentation and give me their feedback, one of the feedback that is something defines Aparajitha is one of our partner ADP told their clients, listen to all the organizations or all the consultants on the labor codes, but finally be guided by Aparajitha. What is that Aparajitha gives us an opinion? Take that particular decision. Yesterday, Varadhan and I were discussing about how the labor code needs to be handled in the transition period. Okay. We were discussing, and then we spent kind of 15 minutes of discussion, kind of a little intense discussion, very quality discussion. 15 minutes, we decided this is the approach we should take. Okay. When we took that, we disagreed with many of the opinion given by many of our retainers, like Sanjay Mohan and other people. But we finally said, okay, this is the best opinion that we have to take in the interest of Aparajitha and in the interest of the industry clients. Finally, when the labor department issued the guidelines, which Ramachandran shared, okay, they suggested the approach taken by Aparajitha. Okay, so that again defines about Aparajitha and the confidence we inspire to the particular industry, which involves a lot of responsibility for Aparajitha. And then kind of initiating our tech rollout, which again happened, and then rolling out different verticals. Every year we come up with the kind of a different vertical, payroll compliance as a business model, then ILS as a business model, then kind of VCSE, VCS projects, different vertical, we started rolling it out. And then kind of the G2G and MyBee programs. Okay, see, we always identify the talents within the organization and we believe in giving them the best of the opportunity to come up at the leadership level. But it's not only the learnings that happens within the organization that is sufficient. You need to have little strategic orientation, much more kind of different outlook. So we requested chairman to handle that session because chairman spent that kind of amount and time with the CXO leadership in training because that was part of the daily activity. Okay. Whereas for the next level people, kind of you need to structure a program. Even that program used to run for 2 years. Okay. That amount of time we invested and spent on people in doing the programs. Already kind of we did the 2 programs, and yesterday last time when I met chairman, I requested the next leadership we have to identify and do a program. These are critical initiatives in the organization in building the future leadership for the organization. Today, the young leaders are coming up to are taking up their responsibilities. Okay, that investment happened 10 years back. And then kind of establishing the partnership with Everstone. See, we used to be a very low profile organization always. Okay, but when Everstone reached out to us and when we decided to partnership with Everstone, the entire industry stopped and kind of started looking at Aparajitha. There's a Madurai-based company coming out of Madurai, building an organization, and kind of suddenly one Everstone-like capital, who's a very leading private equity, ready to invest 100 crores into this organization. An external person certifying the credibility of the organization, credibility of the business, growth of that particular business. And the industry started looking at kind of Aparajitha evolved into a next avatar in that sense, and a lot of people, competition coming in. Okay, they said, oh, kind of there is a good potential to be in this business, and it is very scalable, and this business is the kind of interest for many of the investors. That journey started, and before that, kind of somewhere around again 2008, 2009, the entire leadership team discussed to migrate. Do we have to move out of Madurai? Okay. And then kind of after deliberation, we all took an emotional decision that kind of we have to contribute and give back to this society, and we have to kind of operate out of Madurai. It used to be one extra leg of travel for all of us, and kind of we used to have challenges. Kind of I mentioned in the last meeting too, when I used to carry the business card and say I'm from Madurai, people say kind of where is Madurai? Okay, they'll confuse it with Mathura. Then we say, do you know Rameshwaram? Most of the North Indians know Rameshwaram. From there, bring them to Meenakshi Amman temple, and then they, okay, I'm from that. So when you come from a tier 2 city, your credibility is not greatly appreciated. Okay. Whereas today, Aparajitha has put Madurai in the corporate map. Today, people are confident that kind of a Madurai-like company, a company from Madurai can take up the regulatory compliance and share all the confidential sensitive data to the organization, and they can scale it up and kind of do the best of services to you. So in that sense, Aparajitha put that kind of Madurai in the corporate roadmap when HCL and Honeywell, all these companies kind of started doing due diligence to migrate to a tier 2 city after kind of Pune and Coimbatore and many of these places. When they did the due diligence, Aparajitha name influenced in their decision making. They said kind of Aparajitha being there, scaling up, having 1,200 employees is a very credible confidence for them in choosing a place like Madurai. Even now, kind of we are kind of operating out of Madurai. Today, all the companies are coming to tier 2 city. Even today, Accelerate is thinking of migrating all their portfolio company back office businesses to Madurai. Okay, so from that angle, we contributing to the Madurai is also a beautiful journey in kind of Aparajitha's lifetime. And then kind of building our corporate office here in Madurai. I always tell our team, and I always share it with Amma, that we should have our office on the main road. Okay, we used to operate out of TVS building, kind of with a lot of compromises. Then we took a place for rental. I think that the initial rental was 13,000 rupees per month. Okay, so I ran it through with chairman. Chairman again asked 25 questions for us to clear, convince, growth, all those things, and finally with that approval, we started from that particular place, then scaled it up. Now today we have this fantastic infrastructure, and kind of building block B is also there. Okay, for many of the newcomers, starting that 13,000 rupees space may not be very relatable, but that from that place we kind of originated to this kind of infrastructure. And then kind of starting the tech rollout. See, we always had technology at the back end for internal efficiency, productivity, all those things. We didn't see, we were late in moving the technology to the front end, with client facing. Okay, but that journey again we started in 2015 and started with our journey with Comfy, and then pushed the technology to the front end, and again that determines or influenced the growth of Aparajitha in many ways. And then kind of buying back the stake from Everstone. Usually private equities will have a journey of 5 years with you. When they wanted to exit, kind of under the leadership guidance by chairman and Ramya, me and Shobna worked intensively. And then we decided to buy back the shares from Everstone. That was a kind of, we took a huge risk in terms of taking a loan for 120 or 150 kind of crores, and we were confident in Aparajitha. Okay, so out of that particular confidence in Aparajitha and in the business model that we do, we kind of that we have, we took that loan, we bought back the shares, and when we bought back the shares, the entire financial industry was into turmoil. That time we kind of leveraged that, and we bought back the shares and gave them the exit to Everstone, and then kind of Accelerate reached out to us in partnering with us. So then the journey with Accelerate started. Now, from that particular journey, during that phase, we handled the COVID crisis. Okay, again, COVID crisis, it was complete uncertainty. Okay, no clue about what is going to happen. Again, when we reached out to the leadership team had a discussion, and we decided to have a deferment of salary up to 50% for the entire managerial level. Everyone stood by Aparajitha. They said, yes, okay. Chairman always says, kind of, we should have corpus available with us to take care of the salaries of people in case of risk. Okay, we should have the thought process of 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. We should always plan this. Okay, this he told us in 2002-3. Okay, so we always follow that as a principle. Okay, during the COVID times, we thought, okay, if I continue to pay in the same way, we would be in the position to do it for 6 months. How to kind of take care of the people for 12 months. After 12 months, it's beyond our kind of our control. Then we handled it, and then when we bounced back from the COVID crisis, within 6 months' time, we repaid all the deferred salaries to all the employees. Again, that defined Aparajitha as an organization and built the credibility for the organization. And then subsequently, the acquisitions with acquisitions of ADP, India's compliance business, and then Comply India, and then our partnership with Simpliance, and then subsequent acquisition of business from CoAchieve. All those things position Aparajitha as the corporate top player in the regulatory compliance space. This is the beautiful journey of Aparajitha in the last 25 years. That is the Aparajitha we have today. So what is that going to be the future for Aparajitha? The future today, I see within the window of 3 to 5 years. The next 3 to 5 years, the LEI business, there is again huge opportunity. The LEI business is the steady ship of Aparajitha, which we have to scale it up. Then the 3 growth engines that we have, EHS is going to be the next growth engine for Aparajitha. What Aparajitha took 25 years to attain, EHS will do it for us in 5 years' time. Okay, the initial traction, the moment we pick it up, next to 5 years, we will have Aparajitha version 2 of Aparajitha in that sense, which will be what we have done in 25 years. This will help to do it in the next 5 years. And then the G Finance business. Again, the G-Filings business today, we have nil penetration in the MSME segment. Tomorrow, G-Filings is going to be the opportunity, the growth engine to penetrate into the G-Filings MSME market. If we could do that penetration, then 5x Aparajitha will be created in next 5 years. Okay, these are the great opportunities we have other than the product tech as a product business and the global opportunities we are exploring through the G partnership. So this is the journey we had in last 25 years, and this is the journey we are going to have in the next 5 years. See, when a company starts from a startup mode and to evolve as a corporate mode, okay, it's a very long journey. Okay, it cannot happen overnight. Okay, when it evolves from the startup, initially, if you take during the startup phase, the leadership team will have the operational capabilities. Okay, and then from the operational capabilities, they will acquire the capability, which is the financial capabilities, seeing the entire business through numbers, through finance. Okay, that is the capability, and then we evolve to the strategic capabilities. Okay, so from strategy, which encompasses both the finance and the operations. This is the journey for every company that will happen. When Aparajitha went through the same journey, and kind of if you see when you see many of the MSMEs fail, okay, predominantly because their progression from this journey to the next journey, sometimes they miss. Okay, in my opinion, in Aparajitha, the same could have happened. Okay, the same could have happened because kind of the leadership team at that initial time we had the operational capabilities. Thanks to chairman, he taught us the initial part of operations, how we have to get into. Okay, and then taught us the financial orientation. Okay, how you have to see the entire business through the numbers, and then the subsequent strategic capabilities. Because during the Everstone phase 1, I had no clue about what is that kind of the conversation is about. What is that they are saying? Kind of initial 2-3 sessions, kind of it was like seeing some Spanish movie without subtitles. Okay, that kind of experience I had. From that, the subsequent Everstone exit, I independently handled. Okay, so as the kind of the organization matured to that particular, so this 25 years of our experience with our journey, on behalf of all Aparajithans, I would like to dedicate this to our chairman Bharath sir. Thank you, sir. And see, on this occasion, thank you, sir, again. On this occasion, I would like to kind of remember the words of Amma. Okay, our Amma always says, Nagaraj, what may be the opportunities that may come to us? Okay, what may be the challenges that we have to face? Okay, our surrender to the divine. Okay, Krishna will hold our little finger and guide us. Okay, அது அழகா சொல்லுவாங்க, சுண்டு விரலை பிடிச்சு கூட்டிட்டு போயிடுவாங்க, நீ எதுவுமே பயப்படாதன்னு. The 25 years, the strongest belief that we have in Aparajitha, the leadership team is the name Aparajitha is what kind of invincible. Okay, you can't defeat it. Okay, but finally it is a divine blessing. Okay, Amma always says that those words of blessing and Amma's always blessing at all times. Okay, help Aparajitha to evolve like this and to face all the challenges and to convert all the opportunities into the growth for the organizations. This, I would like to thank you all for building this wonderful organization, and kind of in our next journey of the 5 years in building the next phase of Aparajitha, and wish you all a happy and fabulous New Year 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was so thoughtful and inspiring. As always, you make the bigger picture feel simple and doable while also reminding us of the little things that matter every day. And when you said that Aparajitha has, over these 25 years, become synonym to what compliance is, I think it really captured the trust the organization has built and the consistency behind it, and it has given us a lot to think about. Once again, thank you so much. I've just talked about Aparajitha has evolved, how Aparajitha evolved over the years, and the goals we can work towards together. But to keep us anchored in the bigger picture, every journey also needs a steady hand, someone who reminds us why we began and where we truly want to go. And that voice for Aparajitha has always been our chairman, Dr. Bharath Krishna Sankar. His perspective has a way of grounding us in our values while opening our minds to new possibilities. With utmost respect, I now request our chairman to share his thoughts on how we step into 2026 with confidence and purpose. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shri Priya. Am I audible, Priya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Aparajitans. Have a beautiful, bountiful, and blessed year ahead. I begin with my New Year wishes for all of you. Thank you so much, Nagaraj. I think it was a splendid 20 to 25 minutes coverage of 25 years of Aparajitha. It has actually made me a little nostalgic at multiple levels. I think I need a couple of seconds to get grounded, because whatever we have shared as collective consciousness and you translate it into language ran as images, incidents, events in front of my eyes in this very short period. And as you rightly said, Amma's blessings and wishes with divine grace has definitely been the bolster or the anchoring point which has brought us here today. As you dedicate these 25 years to our joint leadership, I think somewhere Amma is listening to this and smiling away, and the divine continues to bless us. On that note, let me begin a couple of thoughts that I want to share with you for the year 2026. 25 years of Aparajitha. Nagaraj had beautifully encapsulated it in a synopsis, in an executive summary, in a way that only a person who's gone through this journey can. The author, the architect, and the builder has been Nagaraj with his eminent team, with each member in Aparajitha supporting it, irrespective of how long or how intense. And I would like to place on record my appreciation for each and every individual who has gone through the portals of Aparajitha, past or present. And of course, consider that even others who will enter into Aparajitha in the future would have the same spirit as they go ahead with that. Taking on from what Nagaraj said, this 25 years of Aparajitha was something that I wanted to talk about even last New Year. But then I said, maybe we should wait for the New Year to be over, wait for that year to be over and take it up in the New Year of 2026. So in some ways, the theme that I want to talk about was crystallized in my mind 6 to 8 months back. Having said that, it was serendipitous that as we completed 25 years on November 30th, the labor code had some implementation changes which had to be taken up and the webinar was held. It was indeed that grace from the divine that was a tryst with destiny for Aparajitha, where the webinar got overbooked, and Nagaraj was mentioning to me that they had to increase the numbers. There was almost a crash based on the earlier assumptions, and we had to move up, and quite a few thousands of people joined the webinars over a couple of sessions. I had opportunity to meet with the leadership team other than Nagaraj, and each of them who met me talked about how well received our own approach to the code was in the market. They had also shared some LinkedIn messages and WhatsApp messages on the feedback, and how even the brightest of minds and the best of the best believed that as far as corporate governance was concerned, Aparajitha was the go-to org, is the go-to org, and most certainly will continue to be the go-to org in the future also. To me, this is a combination of merit and spirit, both of which Nagaraj covered beautifully in his speech. Ideally, Shri Priya, I think this speech of Nagaraj has to be recorded. I would like to use it in the next MyBee session as an entire session, cut for every 1 minute, and talk about it from my perspective on what the learnings are and how they have been implemented, it can't be more practical. So that's an aside for you on that score specifically. How is it both merit and spirit? Let's start with what merit is. Merit at the end of the day is what we do with distinction, right? Anything that we do with distinction acquires merit, and merit has to be earned. It is not enough if you think you're meritorious. It has to be recognized by all the stakeholders, not just the market. It has to be recognized by the bankers, the auditors, the government, the employees, the suppliers. Every stakeholder possible has to recognize that merit in you. And at some level, merit does not make too much of a noise. Merit is standing by itself. It can shine, and the light doesn't need another light to lighten it. And therefore, that quiet trait of reliability, what has Aparajitha earned as merit? A quiet trait of reliability, of a brand that keeps its word, meets every promise, and uplifts the very service of the standard of profession that it chose to create. That is the merit that we have created over time. And I think the webinars getting overbooked, and you are having to do so many webinars, and the feedback that came in was standing proof of that. Nagaraj mentioned very many instances in his recollection of 25 years. And if I would really, really recommend that each of you at leisure go through the recording to talk of what were those meritorious points. Equally important is the spirit. While merit talks about what we do, spirit talks about why we do what we do. What is it, the purpose behind how we are working towards something? What propels us? What motivates us? What is the mindset we have as we do it? Most of you would have heard of the story where there are people working, building a temple, and a man passes by, asks one man, "What are you doing?" He simply says, "I'm breaking stones," or "I'm cutting stones." All the four of them are working in the same place. He goes and asks the second person. The second person says, "I'm earning bread for my family." The third person says, "I'm building a temple." The fourth person says, "I'm working on a project which can change the spirit and soul of so many people," right? Now, whatever language was used, all the four are not lying. All the four are true. Yes, somebody is breaking stones. Somebody is earning living for his family. Somebody is building a structure. Somebody is contributing to the larger spirit on which that space would be used. So it's our choice. While none of them is wrong, you can't find fault with them. You can't say they are untrue. You can definitely make a difference in the spirit with which it gets done. A good example would particularly be in hotels where you go. There are servers, there are bearers who come and serve you. Within 5 minutes, you would notice the ones who really want to please you, ensure that you get the best food, whereas there would be others who just are doing it to tick the right boxes. You can't find fault with them, but nor would their service touch your heart. But I think the difference in spirit is the mindset with which you do it, the purpose with which you do it can actually touch the heart of the stakeholder. So while the merit is recognized by the head, I think spirit is felt by the heart. And this combination is what our anthem is all about. Another interesting exercise for some of you could be after this New Year speech, given that this is about 25 years of completion, go back to the anthem. People who know Tamil can understand it yourself. Others who do not understand Tamil, please get support from people who know Tamil. I would request Sri Priya to have it translated and sent it across as well, so that we understand how merit and spirit have been talked about in the anthem. Normally, an anthem is a symbol which probably just remains there as an anthem that we sing before a meeting or before a program like this. But as far as Aparajitha is concerned, it is about walking the talk. It is about how the anthem has been lived through over 25 years and how every line of what the anthem says could be connected to the executive summary of 25 years that Nagaraj has mentioned right now. Therefore, this merit and spirit that define Aparajitha has been exhibited all through in these 25 years. And if we have to go where we can possibly go in the next 5 years, this cannot change and it can only become better. Well, there are so many people with merit. There is no doubt about it. But how do you differentiate yourself from others with merit and become outstanding or inimitable in that? How can you be awe-inspiring, and how can you stand out from the rest who are also in the merit list? How can you be glorious? Glory is normally associated with something that is praiseworthy, something that can become a role model, that inspires you to follow, and that actually over time becomes a legendary example. And how does it happen? Let us think about it a little more. Yes, we are meritorious. We have done very well for ourselves. We've carved a niche. We have distinction of being the best amongst the best, probably. But how do you sustain it, and how do you make it continuously possible? It should stand the test of time. If you have to have merit that can continue to be glorious, that not only defined our 25 years of past, but can continue to define our next 5 years as well, you will have to ensure that you reinvent yourselves very regularly and stand the test of time. Nagaraj mentioned many instances, whether it was the global trust failure where we were caught in London and we received the news, or the 2007 recession, or COVID that came in, or when we had to buy back shares. Aparajitha had a way of emerging victorious, standing the test of time by reinventing itself to what was the need of time and the call of time. Again, when many of these other organizations were taken over, there was a sense of how we had to bring together everybody and how do we reinvent ourselves to ensure that we stand the test of time. And if that happens, you not only remain meritorious, but there is glory to that merit, and that glory makes you a legend even as the organization is running, not a legend that is being talked about in the past. Moving on, when we talk of spirit, spirit is a sense of why you do what you do, which means you have your purpose in mind and you work according to the purpose. But a simple definition of spirit could also be the intent or the purpose with which you do something. As I gave you those examples of 4 people, if you are working in this organization saying that, well, it's a nice job, there is nothing wrong about it. If you just say that I'm filling in forms, there is nothing wrong about it. But at the same time, if you can say that we are touching the lives of so many workforce and supporting the social security of a huge working force, both organized and unorganized in India, and it can even be taken over global. I think as I say it, I have goosebumps, because the possibility of having that kind of a lofty purpose definitely ensures that our spirit is lifted. Make no small plans. They have no magic to stir man's blood. But if you can really make grandiose plans. Nagaraj, one thing that he didn't mention was I gave him a choice. I said he has a choice to go back to TVS as a personal officer running an organization or build a company of its own. And all I could offer was sweat, blood, and tears, because at that point of time, we neither had brand nor had financial muscle. And he took on the challenge. That is the mark of a leader, a navigator, a steward, who's willing to stand up when there is a tryst with destiny and say that here is a chance and I'm going to take it, take the bull by the horns, convert every challenge into an opportunity. And that is the spirit. Definitely gives us a calling to have a fantastic future, simultaneously being grounded. That could seem a contradiction in terms. How can you fly while you're grounded? In one of the earlier themes, I had talked of swifter wings and stronger roots. It is possible that the spirit enables you have stronger roots, which enables you become grounded, but at the same time, it gives you swifter wings to dream much. This paradox or a seeming contradiction, Aparajitha is a standing example of 25 years where we managed to do this over time. So we can continue to be grounded, continue to be empathetic, and handle it by becoming gracious, right? If merit should have glory, the spirit should be gracious. Gracious is elegance in spirit. I repeat, being gracious is being elegant in spirit. When you're approaching something, approach it with a sense of humility, to learn, to listen from the market, to keep your ears and eyes open to the grassroots level, be it with the employees or the markets, then for sure you will have stronger roots, which will enable you have swifter wings as well. I told you that if merit has to become glorious, it has to stand the test of time, and we have to reinvent ourselves. So how can the spirit be gracious? It has to stand the test of trials and tribulations. Time and again, nature has a way of throwing in a spoke in the wheels. It has a way of pushing the envelope. No matter how much we prepare ourselves, no matter how much we do, nature and the divine have a way of testing whether we are resilient enough, whether we are able to convert every challenge into an opportunity, irrespective of how big or grand or how daunting the challenge is. I think, given those couple of instances that Nagaraj mentioned, we have stood the test of trials and tribulations, whether there was recession in the market, whether there was COVID, whether there was a necessity to buy back, taking a huge loan with personal guarantee being given by Nagaraj and me. We have stood the test of trials and tribulations, and we have repurposed ourselves. So to have merit which is glorious, you reinvent yourself, and to have a spirit which is gracious, you can repurpose ourselves, repurpose according to the context. There was a time in Aparajitha where we will say we are nimble. Nimbleness is a way in which you get to speed without compromising on systems and processes. Otherwise, you end up just being fickle, changing your mind with every opportunity or challenge. And that difference, where we can repurpose ourselves and stand the test of context, stand the test of trials and tribulations, will enable us to be very gracious in spirit. Now, quickly, what could give us that merit that is glorious? There is only a one simple answer: disciplined practice. There is no substitute to hard work. Many people, when I used to give addresses about Aparajitha, they have asked very simple questions. What books do you read? Do you wake up at 4 in the morning? Do you read every day? Is it fiction? Is it non-fiction? And there are people who believe that if I can give them that secret mantra, they could do what Nagaraj has done. Unfortunately, there is not a single tablet that if you just have, you could build Aparajitha. Aparajitha is a story of 25 years. Rome was not built in a day, neither was Aparajitha. It has taken years of sweat, blood, and tears to get where we have, and it is just by disciplined practice. Merit by itself is disciplined practice, and to reinvent and stand the test of time is disciplined practice again. Disciplined practice has to become behavior, has to become a habit. There is no substitute for disciplined practice and hard work. That is the only way we can continue to have our glorious merit. Whatever levels we are in, whether we are working at the grassroots level, whether we are working between the top management and the associates, whether we are working as CXOs or the MD or chairman themselves, there is no substitute. What they do could be different, but the disciplined hard work or the disciplined practice becoming a behavior has no substitute. Similarly, what could actually constitute gracious spirit? Again, a simple but profound thought on earnestness or sincerity of intent, where the purpose is more important than the person. The moment we think it is about ourselves, an amount of ego takes over. We are caught in the mesh of trying to be larger than life, have all people's eyes on us, and get praise for what we have done and get recognition, where the larger purpose can get served. Sometimes while taking decisions, we allow personal prejudices and personal thought process to take over the purpose at hand. But if we can sit silently for a couple of minutes, come back to the purpose and say that the decision must be taken with the purpose at the center and not the personal egos, whether it is ourselves or whether the others involved, I think it suddenly opens a floodlight of both fresh air and amazing water that feeds you to believe that it is quite possible to continue to be gracious. Graciousness is about being grounded. While you still grow as an organization and you keep improving, creating your own space, your own niche, you don't get carried away by that. You don't believe that you're so big, you're a monolith, right? There is a good chance that there is a possibility that we think that we are the best in the market, we are the first in the market, and therefore we are infallible. A gracious spirit never thinks like that. A gracious spirit is humble, knows that at the end of the day, it is in serving the stakeholders and partnering the progress of all stakeholders does our merit lie. No matter how people praise us, no matter how well we are recognized, no matter the feedback that we get, can I have my roots stronger and ensure that I believe that in that groundedness does my graciousness lie. We could win over many situations. We could have a belief that whatever we have done has come true, and some of the labor codes have also taken in from our thought processes, but no sense of triumphalism. The sense that we are better off than others can be a matter of motivation, but never a matter of blind pride. And therein lies the difference of having a general spirit vis-a-vis a gracious spirit. Therefore, the sincerity of purpose will also have to become a habit, which will enable us to be grounded and poised. Neither would be carried away by praise and recognition completely, nor would be crushed by challenges or daunting situations. It should also become a behavior. So effectively, two behavioral patterns which are important for our organization at this point of time. Number one, disciplined practice and hard work. That alone will continue to make our merit glorious. Sincerity to the purpose at hand and not to the person. That alone will continue to make our spirit gracious. Very interestingly, the Gita talks of yoga with clear definitions only in two places. One, it says, dexterity in work is yoga. To me, the disciplined practice, the merit that comes with it, and the glorious merit is exactly that sentence. Yoga karmasu kausalam. Simply dexterity in work is yoga, glorious merit. Another place it says, samatvam yoga uchyate, which means equipoise in spirit is yoga. This is why I thought of gracious spirit, because it is equipoised in terms of how you handle situations, no matter whether they are victories or they are seeming not failures as such, but challenges which will have to be converted into opportunities. And if we can maintain this, if we can maintain the merit which is glorious by continuing to reinvent ourselves, stand the test of time, and if we continue to have our spirit as gracious, being earnest to our purpose at hand, earnestness and purpose and disciplined practice will become ways of life, ways of behavior, habits in Aparajitha. Effectively, we all know that culture and behavior are actually the cause and effect of each other. Therefore, when we do this, we will create a culture in Aparajitha which continues to have glorious merit and gracious spirit, which is what is the basic line if we have to look at what Nagaraj dreams for this organization 3 to 5 years down the line. So let glorious merit, gracious spirit be the theme of 2026 as we enter the new year after having completed 25 years of glorious merit and gracious spirit. This is not just the theme of what 2026 has to be, but what Nagaraj summarized for 25 years is encapsulated here, because these are timeless truths that have been taken or that have been inspired by the lines in Gita themselves, which not only summarize the 25 years, but gives us clarity of the spirit that we need to have for the next couple of years as we go towards greater summits. I'm saying this specifically because unlike other years, this year, the theme line is not just meant for the year. It is actually timeless because it encapsulates the past beautifully, it celebrates the present wonderfully, and it enables us look forward to the future with a lot of enthusiasm. I only wish that this glorious merit Aparajitha develops on a regular basis so that we become an inimitable legend, not a legend which is just of one type and one method, a legend that can continue to exist in the market. Glorious merit will make Aparajitha an inimitable legend, and gracious spirit will make Aparajitha actually very, very luminous, enigmatic and luminous, right? So last time we talked about credible charisma and visible enigma. Gracious spirit will make us a luminous enigma. So once we are an inimitable legend with glorious merit and a luminous enigma with gracious spirit, we will continue to be the quiet marvel. As it is, we are a marvel. I'm very proud to say that, with humility, being dedicated completely to divine grace, because the unseen hand has always held us and taken us forward. The unseen feet has always guided, guarded, governed, and graced our path ahead, which is why we are here. And the same glowing force will continue to guide our path as we move forward. And we will ensure that with that guidance and with blessings of Amma, we would have a quiet marvel in Aparajitha, which definitely defines the landscape that we work with. With that note, glorious merit and gracious spirit as the theme line, I would like to wish each Aparajithan a wonderful year ahead, which is filled with learning opportunities. Focus on your individual merit, let it continue to be glorious as at an individual level, team level, and an org level. Focus on your spirit, let it continue to be gracious at an individual level, team level, and an org level. Together we will rise, together we will conquer, together we will consolidate, together we will continue to be glorious and gracious. All the very best. Have a wonderful year ahead. My wishes to you and all your loved ones, both at home and at work. Thank you, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed sharing my thoughts with you on 2026, not only as part of New Year, but as a session where we are also celebrating the completion of 25 years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your words always settle us, equally reminding us to be present in what we do and be mindful of how we move together. And what you have shared today will remain with us with that awareness and purpose. And yes, 2026 will bring its own rhythm, moments that test our merit, and opportunities that call for a gracious spirit. And what will matter most is how we bring both together in a way we work, we collaborate, and make decisions. So thank you once again. So that perspective sets the tone for how we move into the year ahead. And taking that cue from the chairman's guiding thought for the year, glorious merit, gracious spirit, let us take with us the message that has been echoed today. Letting merit guide the quality of our work and letting spirit guide how we treat each other and the people we serve. Here's to 2026, a year where our merit shines through our results and our spirit shines through our actions. Wishing every Aparajithan a joyful, successful, and fulfilling year ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Priya. Happy New Year to all of you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Super. Please, sir. Excellent, sir. Nice summary.